Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for clicking the video. We're going to get right into it. We're here to talk about the new inverted Kingpin Thunders and give you my first impressions on them because I've been riding these for about 3 weeks now. If you keep your ear to the rumor mill, you already know that there's been this talk of what people have dubbed the T2, and that's supposed to be like a completely redesigned Thunder with like new geometry, taller, extended base plates. This is not that. This is just the Team Hollow with an inverted Kingpin. But that's not to say there isn't some changes. So let me go ahead and read down the list of things that they sent me. Where'd it go? Let me unveil the scroll. All right. Thank you for being a part of Thunder. Dadboard is the best. No. I don't think it says that. I mean, it could. These are an advanced set of our new inverted edition trucks. They've been in the works for a few years now. We are hyped for you to ride them. All right, so we're just going to go down some of the bullet points here. The new inverted editions have Thunder's exclusive inverted hollow Kingpin design for more grind clearance and less weight. The grind clearance is definitely noticeable. I mean, it's an inverted Kingpin, so I mean, what do you expect? But I got to say that it's so nice to not have to worry about hanging up on feebles. Not a big Smith guy, but I mean, I'll do them here and there. In fact, I did one for this video, but it's probably the worst Smith grind you've ever seen, and I apologize in advance, but
what's that, brother?
it ain't dipped. I'm sorry. But I am going to work on them a little bit more now. I promise I'll get the dip right. And if you guys have any tips on an off note, go ahead and leave that in the comments, because unique low-profile head design without sharp edges guarantees no hanging up or catching on Smiths or feebles. I can't blame the trucks for hanging up at all. I have not felt the Kingpin. You guys know when you get into a feeble or a Smith grind, you can feel when the Kingpin drags on the ledge or the rail, and it's a terrible sound, terrible feeling, and I have not had that yet. So, rounded off base plate corners and pivot housing for smoother nose and tail slides. Now, if you ride Thunders, you are aware that the base plates are sort of short. So when you're sliding on a ledge, you're basically sliding on your wheel. This is my back truck, and even though I do tail slides, you can see that there's like hardly any marks on there. The rounded off corners, I believe they're just referring to the edges there. I'm not exactly sure how that would help with nose and tail slides if you're not actually making contact with the base plate, but I could be wrong. I personally don't have a problem with sliding on the wheels for nose and tail slides. I've ridden Aces, I've ridden Slappies, Indies, all that. I've had longer base plates, and to me, honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference. If the thing I'm sliding on is too sticky to have my wheels slide on it, then I'm probably not going to slide on it with a longer base plate anyways. So, I mean, it's never really been a thing for me. I know some people have an issue with that. I'm actually not a big fan of longer base plates. Let me just get this out of the way right now. If you don't like Thunder, like if you're like an indie head, if you like Ace, if you like Venture, whatever it may be, if you're not already like a Thunder fan and you have ridden them and you're like, not for me, these aren't going to like change your mind. This is basically for people that are already riding Thunders that want more grind clearance and just a couple little like tune-ups around the edges. Literally. On to the next point. Reinforced Kingpin and pivot wall housing for increased strength and longer truck life. The reinforced Kingpin pivot wall housing. So pivot wall housing, is that like this area right here? The pivot cup? I don't know. Well, it's reinforced, it says, and I haven't had any issues. So there you go. All right, on to the next one. 90 durometer clear purple bushings. I would say they're more violet, and 96 durometer pivot cups for fast break-in time and quick response out of the box. Now, let me tell you guys a story all about how my trucks came out of the box and were immediately responsive. These are actually way looser out of the box than I was expecting. So as soon as I set them up, I was like cranking them down already, which is kind of bizarre. I always like kind of thought it was corny when someone's trucks are like tightened all the way down and you see like 3-4 threads, but I ended up cranking these like 2 full rotations, which is why the top bushing has already got a little tiny bit of wear on it. Like it looks like a crack forming. Unfortunately, Thunders are also notorious for having like weak bushings. Like the original bushings they come with, you usually have to replace within like a couple months. Me being a fat ass, I have to replace them a little bit faster, but I just replace them with the Thunder kit and get the 90 durometer, and I've never had an issue with the replacement bushings. But it is the summertime right now in Sacramento, and it is hot as fuck, so I'm gonna probably keep these cranked down until the weather gets a little bit colder. Actually, another point for inverted Kingpins is that you don't have to show how many threads you're cranking your trucks down, if you even care about that, which you probably do. So these weighed in at 364 grams compared to the Hollow Lights that I've been riding, which are 324 grams. I haven't really noticed it too much, but I mean, I have adjusted my board a little bit in the last month or so. Oh, and also let me throw in, these are 151s, so 875 axle, not like a super common size. So if you're getting like an 825 or an 85 axle, or, I mean, do you go skinnier than that? That's weird. No, I'm just kidding. Ride whatever you like. So as far as like the pinch and how they feel, if you've ridden Thunders and you like them, it's most likely because you enjoy the geometry of them and you like the way that they make you skate. These have a great pinch. I think it's because of the cast base plates. I'm used to the forged base plates, which are a millimeter lower, I believe, and I also ride 54 millimeter wheels. I've kind of enjoyed having like a higher truck, to be honest with you. I really like the weight of the hollow lights, but I'm really enjoying like having a little bit extra clearance for my giant wheels, as well as not having to worry about hanging up. Because I mean, if you get into a feeble on a curb and you fucking go flying and it's because you hit your Kingpin, you know the pain. I know some people actually like grinding down a Kingpin a little bit and when they get the groove, but me personally, if I'm replacing bushings and changing them out and tightening them down during different seasons, I like to be able to access the nut. Yes. I skated them on transition. I'm not a transition skater by any means, but I mean, just doing basics and little pivot stalls and 50-50s and stuff on coping, they felt great. Oh, and also, we're going to take a look at the actual Kingpin nut in there. So it's a little bit different than, for instance, I have a relic of the channel here. Now look at that one. So it's just kind of floating in there. So I think it's cool. There's like a little sleeve in there that allows you to access it a little bit more if you need to. It's a solid truck, man. It's not heavy. It's got nice clearance. They grind great. I mean, I like the sound Thunders make. I like the way they feel when you're grinding on concrete or metal. I would suggest giving them a shot if you're in the market for new trucks. And if you're happy with the trucks you have, just keep the ones you have. I'm not here to sell these to you. I'm just giving you guys like a first look, give you my impressions. Deluxe did not ask me to make a video. I'm under no obligation to give these a positive review in any sort of way. I know when I did the 93 durometer Spitfire video recently, people were saying like, oh, you know, he's friends with Jim. He's shilling for Spitfire and Deluxe. And it's like, dude, I've been shilling for Deluxe since I was in like 9th grade. Like, I'm just a fan of the company. In all seriousness though, I'm not paid for this. Nobody asked me to make this video. I'm just trying to get this out there so you guys can see them firsthand, kind of get a little feel for them. And the people hopefully that watch the channel enough and are familiar with me know that I'm not going to feed you a bunch of bullshit. This is just literally my opinion on the trucks. I think they're really great. I love Thunder, so that's why I like them. If you don't like Thunder, you probably won't like these because they are Thunders. Just wanted to make this short. Wanted to come out here to the park on this beautiful day and just talk about trucks because that's what the fuck you do on YouTube, Mr. DeGrosse. I think that's it. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up at that. I will see you on the next one. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them. I'll do my best to answer. And yeah, that's going to be it. All right, guys, see you on the next one. Peace.